Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
So what do you think Alex Murdaugh is like behind bars in prison? In many cases, he has been off to himself, not with general population, but there has been times where he has been in a group setting, and there's now a new book about just that and more of the Murdaugh family, actually going way back, looking at the roots of this family. That's why the book is called Tangled Vines, Power, Privilege, and the Murdaugh Family Murders. It's written by John Glatt, and it really gives us some insight that we haven't seen thus far in this case. What do you think Alec would be like behind bars? Is he someone you'd want to go share a ham sandwich with in the commissary?
I don't think so. First of all, we know when he was out of prison, he was quite the crafty guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was always up to something. Seemed like he was always scheming a little bit. Inside prison, I think he would be a master manipulator that you wouldn't be able to trust anything he would say.
Well, Murdaugh has made some friends with some really nasty people in jail. Maybe that's natural.
Okay.
Maybe that's not. I don't know. Saying we really hit it off and I liked him. Murdaugh was quoted as saying to his sister-in-law in 2022, he was always in trouble with guns, but laid back and very jail smart. He taught me a lot about being in here that helped me. He doesn't say who that was, but he's talking about supposedly another inmate, unless this is one he made up in his head. The unusual mentorship forms a key aspect of Glatt's narrative. According to Glatt, the patriarch befriended a hardened criminal who had spent most of his life in prison. The unnamed lawbreaker became a mentor for the former attorney and assistant solicitor. Glatt reveals that the jailhouse calls he obtained under the Freedom of Information Act request made by another reporter were crucial to understanding Murdaugh's life behind bars. I listened to every one of those 200 calls, Glatt exclaimed. He didn't talk a lot about what happened, but he would talk about his life in prison, and it was amazing how he'd settled in. He was a gambler. He loved all the basketball games, especially the Gamecocks. He was a sports enthusiast, and that didn't change behind bars. Murdaugh was found guilty of murdering his wife and son, and the crime allegedly committed to cover up his financial wrongdoings. Despite this, he seemed to adapt remarkably well to prison life, a transformation Glatt attributes to the guidance of his new mentor. He assimilated very easily into the jail system, he explained. He was a master manipulator, which you could hear from the jailhouse calls. The mentor's influence is palpable in Murdaugh's activities behind bars. He's made friends over poker and chess, but remained cautious against a possible snitch. He also described befriending a confidant who did him favors in exchange for small bribes. It would amaze you, the trade system in here, Murdaugh told his brother, and how innovative these folks are and resourceful with so little. I'll have to tell you about it later and not on the phone because I know they listen to every single phone call I make. Murdaugh's jailhouse activities and the financial trades he engineered, Glatt notes, highlight his continued manipulation and cunning traits that were likely honed under the guidance of his prison mentor. Interestingly, despite the hundreds of recorded calls, Murdaugh never mentioned his late wife or son during these conversations. Instead, he instructed his other son, Buster, to always put flowers on their graves. Ultimately, Glatt's book offers a comprehensive and detailed account of the Murdaugh family saga, shedding light on new aspects of the story, including surprising mentorship that Alex found behind bars. In summary, while the Murdaugh family may have appeared close and loving on paper, a hidden demon tore them apart, Glatt reflects. I don't think that there is any remorse at all, he said. During the trial, he always had a handkerchief totally and at the ready to wipe his eyes when something gruesome or emotional came out. It was like he was playing the jurors. He knows how to play the game in closing arguments in civil cases. He thought he could do that with this jury, and it rebounded on him. Of course, Alec has never admitted to killing them, and I'm sure he never will.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This guy, first of all, I think he has figured out, he's figured out the system. He's not great at it, but he's figured it out, just like he figured out how to work the system when he was out of jail and prison. And I think he's figured it out now that he's in prison, how to make it work for his benefit.
That will work to his benefit to a certain extent. I do wonder, though, how long that will work for him, just considering the amount of people that he's put away on his own when he was a prosecutor. And those that may seek some sort of retribution against him. There's still a long list of people that are going away because of Alex Murdaugh, and then their own private tangled webs of crime were exposed because they were spiraling off of Alex tentacles. I don't know. I mean, this is a man who probably needs to be in protective custody for quite a while, if not for his existence in prison. But I don't think that that's going to be the case. I think Alec even said at one point, I'd rather face the chances of being out in general population than being isolated all the time. But that being as high profile as this is, there's a target on him, without a doubt. I would be surprised, honestly.
Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
Because of who he was in his community and how the family was basically put on a pedestal, the Murdaugh family, do you think that there's some, like, a web of protection for him in jail? Not even just in, like, protective custody, but that they're looking out for him?
Only if he's got something to offer them, and I don't think he does. He has nothing.
Though, if his influence might play into that somehow.
He doesn't have any influence anymore. There's nothing he can.
Completely gone.
There's nothing he can offer anybody on the outside. He would offer illicit favors, and I'm not speaking sexually, but he'd offer, things that were not right. Like leniency here and there, money, promises of money, promises of this or that. So I can see him bullshitting people and promising them things, and then not delivering and getting killed. That's likely how I see this working out, where he's going to dig himself a hole of bullshit with the wrong people. He's not going to be able to deliver, and he's not going to be able to run away and hide in Moselle or whatever little hole he wants to go into. They will find him, and they will take him out. I think it's only a matter of time for someone like him. His manipulating and cunningness will last for so long. Ultimately, I think it will be what gets him killed.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.